Hi, host Eric here, host Talking with Famous People, and I'm talking today about the Talking with Famous People artifacts marketplace and general marketplace that is up and running. It's begun, just barely begun. We're at the very beginning stages. People don't exactly understand what the artifacts marketplace is supposed to do, why it will work, and most of the smartest people I've talked to about it have told me they don't think it's going to work and it's a bad idea, or that they're not sure why it would work, or they can think of reasons why it won't. Well, that fact is step one in it working. Step one in this idea working is that nobody gets it and that everybody dismisses it. It has to be step one. Otherwise, people who got in early and who bought into it for one reason or another wouldn't make a killing. And that's what has to happen. If you want to find an investment opportunity of some sort that's going to make you a killing, it has to be bought into during the time period when other people just don't get it and don't buy into it at all. Now, still, there has to be some reason why you would buy into it, right? There's no reason to buy into something that doesn't make any sense at all. So, what is the sense I'm trying to make with this thing? Well, first of all, I would like to become hugely famous if possible. Am I going to actually be able to do that? I don't know. But one of the reasons why you might choose to invest in one of these collectibles is that the investment in that collectible makes you part of this larger meta art project, first of all. And a lot of the collectibles might be some things made by me. Now, if I'm super famous, obviously, drawing made by me at the beginning of this big meta art project that turns out to work and it grabs everyone's or a large amount of people's attention and it starts to move as a cultural story, not just as an isolated thing. If it does what I want it to do in that regard, then obviously those things will start to become worth a lot of money. And there's a finite number of them. And I'm controlling it specifically in order to manage this aspect of it, the valuings and the collectability and the uniqueness and the certainty of authenticity, the managing of provenance, all that kind of shit, right? So I'm setting the table for if I hit and it works, then everything turns to gold. Now, you might think that's a low probability. Is there actually going to manifest that kind of high level, culturally significant success that would enable the objects to be worth a lot just in and of themselves as collector's objects? Maybe you don't buy that. Fine. You don't need to buy that because there's other reasons why these things might become increasingly valuable. Number one, remember what people really buy when they're buying shit like that. They're buying a story. When you buy a piece of art or you buy some handmade thing or whatever, you're buying a story. You're not necessarily buying the object itself for any utility. If you purchase a drawing that I made, then you're buying the story of this marketplace. You're buying the idea that for some reason it's worth it for you to buy this thing. And it could be one of any number of the stories that I tell you as to why it's worth it for you to buy this thing. But note that when an object has more stories attached to it, it develops a certain amount of metaphysical equity. So an antique piece of some sort that has an extensive provenance and clear documentation and a lot of narrative associated with it is going to be worth more than one that doesn't. These things take advantage of that attribute to build tons of metaphysical equity into each of the pieces, so that the first artifact, which was offered in the artifact market, artifact 0001, is a piece by Neff. Neff's from Sweden. Neff's been on the Raw channel. You can see her and talk to her if she comes back. You can reference her videos and determine that she is who she is as an artist. You can see what her metaphysical process was in generating that piece. How was it came to be? When we first talked about it. And that whole thing is part of the public record. So in that regard, this piece that you have has got a great deal of story behind it. So if you show somebody, you take it to your house and you show somebody, like, well, why'd you buy that? And you can say, well, look, this is what it is. And there's a video about it, and here's a video about it, and it's actually got quite a bit of shit talked about it. It's a pretty significant little piece here at this point. Remember, these videos and the impact upon people in general are cumulative. Teeny amount cumulative. So this video right here will probably be watched by, I don't know, 60, 70 people, maybe 200 within a few weeks, who knows. It's not a lot of people, but every single time a video like this is made about the marketplace, it reinforces the existing narratives and it increases the chances these narratives are going to spread as new people discover it. So there's a modality in place to establish and solidify all the narratives that people ultimately will buy. And that's what people are buying. Remember, when you're buying a collectible of some sort, you're buying a narrative. And you're buying the idea that other people think is valuable too. Okay, so understanding the way the mimetic spread of this thing happens is critical. That I have the mechanism in place. I have all the hard parts already set up. I've got this the YouTube channel with a fair number of subscribers. I've got a fair amount of attention. I've got a fair amount of people affording me legitimacy, and therefore my stories have some legs, more legs than any random average person's stories would have, given a lack of medium through which to express. So there's that element to it. That's a good reason to buy one of these things, is that you'll know that with every talk about the marketplace and the artifice of it in general, that the artifact you own becomes increasingly endowed with a metaphysical equity that can, not necessarily always does, but can certainly collapse into genuine monetary value that's substantially more than you pay for it. Now, the other component of why the marketplace is going to work, or you might believe is going to work, is that you can, in fact, resell through this marketplace, no problem. It's designed to let you do that. So if you bought artifact number 2 and you want to try to see, just turn around and sell it right away for $20, I will list it for you at that price. And we can discuss how to do this. The management of selling of these things directly and precisely for the purpose of maintaining the integrity of the system is another reason why it's going to work. So I have a second artifact up there right now, and at some point I will put up a third and a fourth, and that one may continue to not sell for a while, and that's fine. I may even put it as dormant, take it away from being available for sale, but not remove it. It's number 2 forever. That's never going to change. Those things that are rock solid and put in place, they are in fact just that. They are not subject to change. It's never going to be another artifact number 2, but that one may not be available for sale forever. Why do I do that? Well, it's managing the perceptions of the marketplace and the scarcity and availability of these things. That management, that careful management of that, is another reason why it's going to work. Is that the next thing I'm going to put up in the marketplace before I put up any more artifacts are non-artifacts. I've got some digital downloads I want to offer for sale. They're albums. I've got a PDF of a book I would like to offer for sale. I've got a couple things like that. So that's next. The reason that's next is because I want people to understand the marketplace, the artifact marketplace, is stewing. This is a years-long project that is actually well underway, and it's been in the making now for quite some time. I traveled across country to collect objects from people. I set it up. I've been telling this narrative for months and months and months. I've been establishing clearly that it's going to work and that there's no reason to have any doubt in it. And I'm continuing to tell that same message. I've never wavered for a second on this thing. And that's pretty convincing. Why? Because when I'm wrong, I admit I'm wrong. When I have a plan, I rarely follow through. When I have a big plan, I insist that this is the one true genius idea, and then follow through on it for months and months and months, and persist in it, and actually do all this fucking legwork to make it happen. You have every reason to believe that it's going to work. I just don't do that shit unless I am truly enamored with the notion. So, what's one of the reasons you might buy it? You have faith in my visionary nature. Am I a visionary? Well, you're watching this video, aren't you? I mean, it doesn't make me a visionary, but it makes me successful, at least in getting potentially convince people that this thing has so many multitude of reasons to purchase it that you should shell out $10 for it, or $5 for it, or whatever, to get the thing moving. It's not an audacious or ambitious idea in any given moment. Another reason why it's going to work. It's not too much to ask somebody to pay $10 for a drawing, especially when you've given this much metaphysical equity to go along with it, and especially when at least there's a chance that will be worth $100 in not a super long time, maybe $1,000. Who knows? What I do have here that is at the base of all of this, that everything's built on a very solid foundation. It's built on a foundation of 2,750 videos on this channel currently, plus countless videos on the Raw channel, plus endless hours with countless other people of me conversing with them, becoming part of their lives, and making talking with famous people part of their lives. So they are on camera experiencing part of their lives. This is something they can show to their family and friends later on when they're older. They will remember their own lives through talking with famous people will be part of it. Host Eric will be part of it. And when they talk to me again later on, after I haven't talked to them for years, they'll say something like, "Oh my God, that meant a lot to me way back then." That kind of shit, right? Persistence and serious output, like I put out consistently over time, it unavoidably produces gravity within the marketplace of ideas and within the mimetic ecosystem. That gravity continues to grow and can only continue to grow as I continue to produce more content. My subscriber base right now for this main channel is 1,500 and some odd subscribers. And it's not like that subscriber number is increasing faster and faster and faster like I would hope it would. But I get the clear sense that we're nearing a tipping point where it's going to start to do that. The Raw room tends to fill up a lot more than it used to, and there's a lot more genuine enthusiasm for it. There's a clear understanding of what it's doing in terms of identity construction and such, and all that shit links in with this. So when you purchase the metaphysical equity of an individual who's made an object for this meta project, they've already put their weight behind it. They said, I might not buy something from this, but I'm going to spend hours working on something for you, Eric, to help you succeed in this. Not because I believe I'm going to profit from it, probably, even though you tell me I will eventually, but because I am so enamored with this process, this meta project, this identity shaping machine that we all enjoy and participate in, and I am so stricken by the unique nature of that which is offered here that I'm willing to spend hours making an object for you just so this idea I don't even believe in, you can feel better about it. That's a pretty fucking powerful indicator it's going to work. If I can get people all across the country to make objects for me to sell and give them to me to sell, and not under any sort of particular conditions, but just, well, of course I want you to have that, Eric. Do you think maybe it's possible I'll be able to get somebody to buy one of these objects? Especially after I've transubstantiated with the fiery map-cast flames of Yailer's truth and ensure that the object has magical powers which have yet to be revealed. Now, for some of us, this might be our only way to segue into magical thinking. Another reason why you might want to buy one of these things. Maybe you're a rationalist and you have no other means to get magical in life. Well, this is a good way to do it. You need magic in your life. You can't have everything be all logic. God. You need some form of God. Whether it's almighty, one monotheistic God, whether it's demigod Yailer, whether it's Entropotriples, God of stumbles and confusion, whether it's Actron, God of quality and objects, whether it's Curtis, God of text and of naming of things, whether it's the beholder, she who determines quality in art. It doesn't matter what your gods are or who your God is. What matters is that you have magic in your life. And if we are interacting with the reality through only a logical framework, we do ourselves a deep disservice. So, one of the reasons why this is going to work is because it's a magical spell that I've cast. I'm a pretty good time wizard, so it's pretty much guaranteed to work. But another reason is because you need magic in your life, and you don't have enough, and I'm offering it to you, and it's real, because I'm a real wizard. So that's why you should buy shit, or believe in the artifacts marketplace, or not. It doesn't matter what your response to this is. It still worked. It doesn't matter what your response to it is. It still worked. It's working right now. It's currently working on you. And everybody else. Even people who aren't even watching it. It is a force of history at this point, and it just needs to roll forward with its own momentum. And all I need to do is execute a process that I want to execute anyway. Doesn't even require any follow through on my part. To the extent that it required hard lifting, I've already done it. The boulder is rolling, and nobody recognizes it for what it is. Unless maybe you do, because you're super smart. But regardless, it doesn't matter. That's the beautiful thing about it. It doesn't matter. It's already worked.